Today, I'm going to be giving you my opinions on all of these ships going into Stranger Things Season 5. I've been pushing off this video for around 3 years now because I don't have that strong of opinions on it, and I know it's a very firing topic in the Stranger Things community, but I decided today was the day, and I have to make at least one video on it before Stranger Things 5 is here. So I'm going to give you my predictions on who I think is going to end up together, how those ships are going to play out, and if any of the characters are going to die that are in the ships, etc., etc. And hopefully I can stay as unbiased and in between the lines as much as possible. Before I get into it, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join my Discord down below where we have over 1,200 members in my TV show Discord community. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so I know there are a lot of like different ships and Stranger Things. Like there isn't just 6 ships that I have written down or 7 ships or whatever there is. There's like 20, okay? People have put pretty much every character in the show with another character. I'm just gonna go through the ones that I think I know are going to happen. I'm not gonna like dive into any other ones, but I'm gonna try to hit like all the main characters, okay? And all the ones that I care about. So we'll start off with the ones that I for sure think, you know, most of the community agrees with and they're going to be staying together. And that is Lucas and Max. I think Lucas and Max obviously will stay together, and that will be a ship in Stranger Things Season 5. And hopefully both of them live happily ever after. I almost am like 100% positive that that's going to be the case. I don't think they're going to be in danger, or I don't think they're going to be in danger of like their ship going to waste or whatever. I think they're going to live at the end of Season 5 because of how delicate that situation is right now in Stranger Things. So I think Lucas and Max 100% stay together and they live happily ever after. That is my prediction for them. And then another one that I think is pretty set in stone is Joyce and Hopper. We saw the tension building in literally Season 1, and then Joyce got with Bob in Season 2, and then in Season 3, after Bob died or whatever, Joyce was still grieving and Hopper was slowly trying to inch his way in and make his move or whatever. And then Joyce, you know, did that thing with Scott where he went over there and asked him questions or whatever, and Hopper got all mad. And then they planned a date. The date never happened because Hopper got kidnapped to Russia, and now they're together in Season 4. So I think after 4 seasons of tension building up, and then, you know, finally getting together in Season 4, I think it's safe to say Joyce and Hopper will stay together. And will they live happily ever after? I sure hope so. I hope they do, and I think they will. But I'm not as confident as I am with Lucas and Max, to be honest with you. Like, I think Lucas and Max for sure stay together and stay alive just because of how all that's panned out. But I think Joyce and Hopper, it could go south, I feel like, with Hopper. But we shall see. I definitely think that ship will stay together. And these next 2 ships, I'm going to talk at the same time about them. One is Dustin and Susie. I really don't know if Susie's going to be in Season 5, so maybe this is not a thing and Dustin's going to be grieving and stuff, so maybe Dustin just doesn't have anyone in Season 5. But I think with Dustin's situation, it's either going to be with Susie or with no one at all. That is my prediction. I don't think he's going to end up with someone if he doesn't get back with Susie, or he just dies. That's definitely a possibility, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, since he might not have anyone. I don't really know, but Dustin and Susie, I think they will be together if Susie's in Season 5. If she's not in Season 5, I think Dustin will be on his own, grieving, you know, whatever, being himself, single Dustin. And then the next ship is Robin and Vicky. I think Robin and Vicky will get together in Season 5, and will they live? Probably. But I really do think that, like, they obviously gave strong signals in Season 4. I don't think it's that far-fetched to say that Robin and Vicky are going to get together. Like, we know Robin's gay and everything, and we know Vicky is too, so, and they were looking at each other in Season 4. It's not hard to assume that they will probably get together in Season 5 and stay together. Most likely both of them live, unless, you know, Robin, Maya Hawke talked about how she wanted Robin to die. Maybe Robin dies. But those are kind of the ships that are pretty much set in stone in my eyes. In my eyes, I look at all those characters, I'm like, okay, nothing's really going to change as far as their ships. Joyce and Hopper, Lucas and Max, Dustin and Susie, Robin and Vicky. Those are like the for sure ships that I think will be together. Most probably all of them will live, and they'll most probably live happily ever after. Now we get into the conversations about all the, you know, controversy surrounding this topic in the Stranger Things community. So I guess The first one I'm gonna dive into is Mike and 11. I'm gonna dive into Mike and 11 and just go through this whole situation, give you my perspective on it, okay? I know that Will Byers is gay. I also think that Mike Wheeler is not gay and clearly shows signs for 11. That is my opinion. I think Mike and 11 will stay together in season 5. Will they both live? Probably not, okay? But I think that Mike and 11 have, you know, been together since literally this episode 1 of Stranger Things. Like, they locked eyes, whatever, clearly bonded throughout season 1 and season 2, and then season 3 obviously had the love fest or whatever. In season 4, they had their little ups and downs in season 4, and we'll try to, you know, dive in there and everything. But I think, from my perspective, I think Mike and 11 will end up together in season 5. And as far as Will goes, I feel like Will is going to have a moment where he talks with Mike, or he talks with someone. I'm assuming it's going to be Mike, and he's going to come out as gay. And I think he's going to have that conversation. I think that scene will 100% take place in season 5. In fact, recently there was news that Noah Schnapp actually asked the Duffers if he could customize one of the scenes, or, like, you know, do his own little directing, I guess, on it or whatever. Like, maybe he wrote different lines, but basically he edited one of his scenes that he was going to have, and I'm pretty sure that scene was probably of him coming out, because he probably had that experience in real life, because Noah Schnapp is gay, so he probably just related with it a lot. So yeah, I think that Will's going to have that moment where he talks with Mike, and Mike's gonna, like, understand and comfort him, say, like, he's here for him and everything, but Mike's not gay and he's gonna be with 11. That's my perspective on it. I don't care if you think Byler's gonna happen, right? Is that the name of it? Mike and Will. You can think that's gonna happen. In my personal opinion, I almost 100% think it's not gonna happen. So, you know, but I have no problem. Don't be, you know, coming at me for my opinion. Okay, so Mike and 11 stay together in season 5. Will has his coming out moment / scene, and then as far as Will goes, honestly, I see him dying. But if he doesn't die, I think he just comes out, is friends with everybody, and maybe in the time jump he meets someone. Like, I could see that coming about. But I really don't know where they're going with that. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you any predictions, but I could see, like, if they do like a 2-year time jump at the end, maybe it shows Will with someone, you know? I don't know, but I feel like that could be a possibility if he survives. But then again, like, I see 11 and Will being at high stakes of dying in season 5, so maybe none of this shit matters anyways, to be honest with you. But anyways, yeah, I'm predicting Mike and 11 being together in season 5, and Will having his moment, but not being with Mike. Believe it or not, though, that is not the ship that I'm most interested in. Like, I have strong opinions about that, I guess. You know, like, I think Mike and 11 are going to be together, and I want Mike and 11 to be together, because, like, 11's my favorite character. But my strongest opinions on all these ships, and literally the only reason I'm making this video, is because of Steve, Nancy, and Jonathan. Okay, this ship has pissed me off so much throughout Stranger Things, okay? Because, first of all, I don't know how I feel about it. I like all 3 characters. Steve's my favorite, but I like all 3 characters. It's just like, in season 1, Nancy and Steve were, you know, they were in love, it seemed like, and clearly, like, Nancy was, like, going for the hot jock or whatever in high school, and Steve had his problems and all this, and he was a douche. Like, obviously, she should have broken up with him. I don't have a problem with that. And then she got together with Jonathan. In my opinion, that was it. Okay, that should have been it right there. She got with Jonathan, she left Steve, had her moment with him, and she moved on. But no. Steve never moved on. In fact, Steve kept showing signals. Nancy kept allowing them to just, you know, flatter her. And then in season 4, we see this scene. I don't even know if I'm going to bring up the clip, but hopefully I can find it, of Nancy and Steve walking in the upside down, having this, you know, moment where they're locking eyes, flirting, she's tending to his wounds, like, all this shit. And it's like, what are we doing? Haven't we moved? It's been 5 years. Like, haven't we moved on? Longer than that. At the time, it's been like 7 years since they broke up in the show. Or, you know, like, IRL, I guess. Either way. Like, it's been years. It's like, what are we doing? Bringing this back together. And then the reason that was even more confusing is because when Jonathan came back and they were like nailing on the board at the end or whatever, and Nancy and Jonathan were talking on Hopper's cabin, and they had this like awkward moment where they're like, yeah, you know, like, you know, whatever. But then they show them holding hands or whatever. But it was like awkward moments. And it got broken up by like Argyle getting high on mushrooms or something. Like, can we just not do this love triangle thing? Like, Nancy is the problem. Nancy is the problem in this situation, okay? I don't blame Jonathan or Steve, but Nancy should she should set her damn boundaries and stop like letting these two men like give her weird signals. Like, just pick one, in my opinion, because from a viewing perspective, I'm like, oh my God, like, Steve, you could get any girl you want. Why are you going back to this one like years later? Like, why aren't you like moving on? That's my thing. But you know, Steve's probably gonna die anyways, it's not gonna matter. In my opinion though, Nancy and Jonathan should stay together in season 5 and be together, and that is it. It should not be Steve and Nancy. I thought, you know, there have been times where I ship Steve and Nancy, but after I rewatched the show and rewatched season 4, I'm like, hell no. Hell no. Nancy, she chose her side. She needs to stay on that side. And like Natalia Dyer and Charlie Heaton are married in real life, or like, you know, girlfriend, boyfriend in real life. I don't know if they're married, but either way, like, they're together in real life and they have been since like the start of the show. I feel like it's right to keep them together in the show, but we'll see where the Duffers go. So yeah, those are all of my Stranger Things ship predictions. I'm trying to think if I missed any. Like Murray's not going to get in with it. Murray's going to die. Karen is with Ted. Like, I don't really know anyone else to pick. I hope I'm not missing anyone, because that's going to be like bad doing this video, but let's go through them again. I think Mike and Levin will end up together. Joyce and Hopper will end up together. Lucas and Max will end up together. Jonathan and Nancy will end up together. Dustin and Susie, and Robin and Vicky. And then the odd ones out are Steve and Will, right? And I think both those guys have a good chance of dying. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that is it. Like, everyone else is like dead, or just they don't make sense in my opinion. So yeah, those are my ship predictions for Stranger Things season 5. I gave my opinions, people. You have my opinions out there, but like I said, like, one thing I want to say, the beauty of a community in a TV show is that you get to fantasize about all these different outcomes. Look at me, I'm fantasizing about all these unrealistic theories all the time. I've made like hundreds of different theories, legit hundreds of different theories and outcomes for Stranger Things season 5. I know not all of them are going to come true, but it's fun to think about. So I have no problem if you want to think that like Mike and Will are going to get together, or this and that's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. Like, to me, that's awesome. That's the community that we should be talking about that stuff, because it just brings up conversation, and I love talking about the show anyway. So I have no problem with any opinions out there. Just want to make that perfectly clear. But here are my opinions. Let me know what you guys think about them. If you agree, if you don't agree, and yeah, I can't help you if you don't agree, but you know, to each his own. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. I'm going to be hopefully posting more consistently on YouTube. If you guys have any video suggestions for me, let me know in the comments. And yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.